A recent New York Times article titled "The World Isn't Ready for What Comes After IVF" warns of in vitro gametogenesis, or I.V.G. This new and developing technology could enable the production of eggs or sperm from regular body cells, such as skin cells. The New York Times writer claims this would make it possible for men to become biological mothers, women to become fathers, and individuals to have multiple genetic parents. Now, is this really likely, or is it just insane science fiction? Well, enthusiasts suggest it's inevitable, and critics don't necessarily disagree, but warn of the catastrophic things that will happen if it does. Now, adding to the layers of complexity is the suggestion that people with pro-natalist ambitions are likely to embrace this developing technology in order to turn around the world's declining population. Ari Schulman, who is no fan of the developing mad scientist technology, isn't so sure it will happen, but also suggests we shouldn't just sit idly by and simply hope it won't. Bioethical lines are already being crossed on a regular basis with the destruction of millions of embryos in fertility clinics all around the world. Now, one of the primary problems of IVF is that far more embryos are usually created than can be implanted. When it happens, doctors evaluate and grade the embryos, a process that leads to many not making the cut, so to speak. They've actually come up with a cold and awful term for it: embryo wastage, and it adds up to millions of embryos being killed every year. Now, Focus on the Family believes concerns and objections to IVF can be reduced, but that married couples considering it should prayerfully and carefully research the issue. Scripture is clear that God puts limits on us for our own benefit. We might be made in His image, but we possess neither His power nor His endless knowledge. And when God says no to us, we're sometimes afforded the opportunity to partially learn why down the road. Now, my wife and I suffered numerous miscarriages in the early years of our marriage. It was gut-wrenching disappointment that seemed contrary to God's nature. We prayed fervently for those children and wondered why He didn't agree with us. Simply put, the Lord had other plans. Julie and I wound up adopting 3 boys, and life has never been the same since. How many couples are missing out on similar blessings by recklessly pursuing designer children via surrogacy or other unethical means? As we move ahead, the Apostle Paul's words to Christians in Ephesus remain timeless. "Be very careful then how you live," he wrote, "not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. Therefore do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is."